You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Roberts Show. So glad you tuned in this afternoon. We have a great show for you. And you know, as I always say, you got to go to that refrigerator, get that pop, get that sandwich, get a bag of chips or whatever. So, because I'm on the air and I don't want you to miss anything because we really have a great show. I want you to call a neighbor, call a friend, and let them know the Roberts Show is on the air today. Today, we're going to be talking about homelessness in Detroit. I have attorney Charles Hobbs with me today, and he sort of advocates for them, and we're going to just have a great show, and we're going to talk about that. So at this time, we're going to go to a commercial break, and then when we come back, my guests will be up here with me, and we'll go further from there. So like I said, while we're taking a commercial break, go to that refrigerator, get that drink, get that pop, get those chips, and, you know, call a neighbor, call a friend. Robert's on the air.
Enjoy real time. On the Robert Show.
What if you had a chance to do it all over? What if you found that chance to make things right? Take back from what the enemy has stole from you. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and fight for the battle of righteousness. It's yours. And we take it by force.
Beat 'em up, man.
All right, welcome back. I hope you called a friend. I hope you got that pop and that sandwich out of that refrigerator so you won't be able to miss any of the show. Because I have with me now attorney Charles Hobbs. Welcome to the show and thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you advocate for the homeless in Detroit. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, could you tell us a little about the organization that you represent?
Absolutely. So I work for an organization called Street Democracy. And what it is a nonprofit organization that provides pro bono legal services as well as coordinates human services to impoverished individuals, and that particularly the homeless. My position is actually it's a fellowship through Michigan State University's Veterans Initiative. So I work mostly with the veteran population here in Detroit, helping them address their homelessness usually as well. You know, we coordinate those services, that not just the legal services that help address those issues that they have, but also the you know, day-to-day, you know, to help them essentially get back on their feet.
Okay, now, do you know exactly the number of people that may be homeless in the city of Detroit?
You know, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but I do know that it's I mean it's a pretty big population. There's a lot of people out there that need our help.
Okay, and now if they wanted your help, how would they go about securing it?
Okay, so we don't receive our clients directly. You know, like someone, if someone's having these issues they need help with, we don't get our clients directly from the general public. Our clients all come through a referral system. So we have service providers, partners here in the community, such as St. Leo's Church, Capuchins, and a few others that they will work with. An individual will work with, you know, essentially a social worker at one of those organizations. They'll devise what we call an action plan, different steps for them to take to, you know, to help get their life back on track and out of homelessness. And then after they work on that action plan for 30 days, that's when the caseworker will see that this person's committed, and then refer them to us to help clear up, you know, legal matters that they may have.
Okay, what type of legal matters would they have?
So what we found is that in order to break that cycle of poverty, one of the biggest hindrances to them is not having a driver's license. And the reason why most don't have their driver's license is because they have, our average client probably has 9 to 10 outstanding traffic tickets. Those traffic tickets, they don't show up to court, they don't pay the fines, and then the Secretary of State puts a suspension on their license. And until they either go and, you know, satisfy the court, they're not able to get their driver's license. And during that time, it doesn't stop a lot of people from driving, you know, because they do have.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
that.
right,
Yeah.
right. You know, I mean, they usually have mouths to feed, and you know, people at home that they need to take care of. And so, you know, there's with the, you know, the public transportation system that's here in Detroit, it's you know, it needs some work, and it's not a real viable mode of transportation for individuals that need to be somewhere. And so normally the person that comes to us has those types of issues, and so we'll take them to the jurisdictions that they have outstanding matters in, as well as we're also trying to get the homeless court, the Street Outreach Court of Detroit, back up and running. It was open for a couple of years. We had to put it on hiatus for a minute so we could formalize the agreement between the city, the county, and the defense counsel and prosecutor's office. But we're hopeful that it'll be open and running here in the next couple of months.
Now, when you say street court, what exactly do you mean by that?
So that's where we actually hold court in the soup kitchens. And you know, these individuals that work with the caseworkers, they get, you know, after working on that action plan for 30 days, we'll actually schedule a court day when we'll take all those individuals that have been, you know, that have been working on their plan for those 30 days and showing, you know, some progress in it. And then the judge will come to the court, the bailiff comes to the court reporter comes to the court, or the soup kitchen rather, excuse me.
We're talking about Capuchins.
Yeah, Capuchins, yeah. And then the judge will recall the warrants that they have outstanding in Detroit, and then those set the next day for 60 days out. And during those 60 days, they have, you know, they'll go and work on that action plan again. And as long as they have 90% of that action plan completed by the time those 60 days come back, the judge will waive any fines and fees that's allowed under the law.
Oh wow, that's great. That's really great. Now, how did this organization come about?
Yeah, so Jayesh Patel is the founder of street democracy. He started this about 8 years ago, and he started by going just seeing a need, feeling that he wanted to help the homeless, and so he started going to different soup kitchens and providing his services to those individuals, him and a couple other people. What they found was that a lot of the times the people they were helping weren't ready to help themselves, so to say.
Okay.
So they were kind of doing just legal triage. They're putting a Band-Aid on it and not fixing the problem. The roots, the root causes. And so that's when he just decided to make a combined effort between those human services, the social workers that provide, and then also the legal services that we provide as Defense Counsel.
Now, where exactly do the referrals come from?
So they come from our service providers. The individuals that are staying in the shelters, we'll approach the leadership there at whatever organization or shelter they're at, and find some, and then show their interest in it, and then that's when they start working with those caseworkers and devising that plan.
Okay, because most shelters, they do have caseworkers in them.
Yeah, most of them do. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you also practice law other than working with the homeless organization.
Yes.
So what type of law do you practice?
With my veteran clients, we do a lot of civil litigation. So we do a lot of public assistance cases, family law cases even. A lot of our guys have issues with child support arrears and those types of things. So we'll help them get those things straightened out. Basically, or it could even be consumer matters. They have outstanding DTE bills and those sort of things. To help them, to manage their lives a little easier.
Okay, but I'm sure the type of law that you practice has a name.
Well, I guess the overall umbrella would be public interest.
Public interest.
Yeah.
And where's the office located?
Our office is located in Midtown, in Tech Town on Wayne State campus. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone needed to have those type of services that you provide, they would come to the office in Midtown?
Well, I would suggest there is a phone number you can call us, and then we can refer you to one of our service providers there.
Okay, let's give the audience that number, please.
It's 313-355-4460.
Did you get that? Say it again for me.
Yeah, sure. It's 313-355-4460.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's been good having you. You've given us a wealth of information, and I'm so glad that you came. I'm so glad I met you.
Me too.
I'm so glad I'm so glad I just stopped and started talking with you, because you're just right down the street from where I live.
Yeah.
And so, but now he's moving. He just recently bought a home, so I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for coming. We're going to have you back once again so we can go further and know exactly where the homeless, what they stand in need of, because I'm sure that you also offer medical services and all of that nature too as well.
Well, some of our service providers do those things, but at Street Democracy we provide the legal services of it. But there's always people that we can refer them to that are in our our partnerships.
Okay. Well, thank you once again, Attorney Hobbs. We have 6 more minutes of this interview. Okay. Now, you say you mostly represent the veterans?
Yeah, so my position is mostly working with the veterans down here in Detroit, yes.
So there is no agency for other people outside of being veterans?
Oh, no. So, the project, we call it Detroit DOD,
Okay.
Defending Our Defenders. So that's one of our projects inside of Street Democracy. Street Democracy has a number of projects that we're working on, and that's one of them. The Homeless Court, the Street Outreach Court Detroit, that's one of our projects. The Detroit DOD is another one of our projects. And then we also have a couple of other projects that we've been working on that help to address the root causes of issues that homeless and impoverished people face.
But how, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but how did these people become homeless, though?
Well, I mean, there's a number of reasons why people become homeless. It could be something as simple as, they got injured, and they had to pay a medical bill. Somebody got injured. Since they got injured, they weren't able to work. They lost their job, unable to pay rent, and it all kind of slides downhill after that.
Yeah, but there are agencies that will help them with those type of things.
There are, but those resources are often limited, and it could be those just a simple thing like that, expensive car repair, that to start that snowball effect.
Okay, what about views on politics with families
I'm not sure what you mean.
or families? About your family. Let's talk about your family.
Okay,
Are you married?
I am not.
You're not. Have you been married?
I have never been married. No.
So you have no children, I
I have
take
no
it.
children either.
Oh my God! Well, you got a girlfriend, don't you? Or am I getting too personal?
No, we're okay. Nope, I'm single.
You're single. Okay. A good-looking man like you, I don't understand why someone hasn't caught you.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, So you live in the city of Detroit, right across from Palmer Park.
I do. Yeah.
And how many years have you been there?
So I've only been in Detroit for about since April of last year, so almost a year and a half.
Where were you before you came to Detroit?
So before that, I was in Lansing. I
Okay.
moved to Michigan in January of 2012 for law school. I attended Cooley in Lansing there, and then after my first year of law school, I started working with Legal Services of South Central Michigan, providing legal aid type services to individuals. I worked there for about 3.5 years, and then after graduating and passing the bar, I was able to find this job.
Okay. So how long have you been with the law firm?
So April of last year, so about
A year and some.
a year and a half almost.
Oh, okay. Well, you just got out of law school, then, right?
2 years ago, yeah.
Oh,
I've been practicing
okay,
for 2 years,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's really good. So, we're going to go to a commercial break. Thank you once again
My pleasure.
for coming and sharing with us. I really appreciate it. And we'll be talking later.
Okay.
You take care. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we'll be right back with our world news segment.
Sit back and enjoy real time.
On the Robert Show.
Discussing politics, the things that make us tick.
On the Robert. On the Robert. On the Robert Show.
Welcome to the Robert Show.
Welcome to the Robert Show. You ain't gotta go. Welcome to the Robert Show. Welcome to the Robert Show. The Robert Show.
With Robert and Precious, we travel all around the world, from city to city, state to state, to bring you the world news. Come on and tune in. You need to find out what's going on. And you're watching WHPR TV 33, Comcast 91. Let's talk with Robert and Precious.
Welcome back. This is our World News segment, and you know it. When we have the World News segment, I turn it over to Sister Erica Crawford because she's the one that takes care of this part of our show. Good afternoon, Erica.
Good afternoon.
And how are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good,
good. I'm
good,
feeling okay. Nice having you on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Very informative of everything you was giving us about what you do in the homeless. So that was really good. Okay, so here we go again, the world news. Well, today it is the memorial of 9/11. Of course, many of you know, but we're just going to cover it just a little bit. September 11th, 2001, 19 militants hijacked 4 airplanes, and it carried out suicide attacks. 2 of the planes flown in the Twin Towers in New York City, which is the World Trade Center. 1 hit Pentagon, and the other one crashed in Pennsylvania. This unfortunate event, almost 3,000 people were killed. This triggered major U.S. initiative to combat terrorism. Do you guys remember 9/11? Where were you at that time? Do you remember where you were at and the feelings you
I don't remember where I was. I think I was at home.
Okay.
But it was a senseless act. How can you just take somebody's life the way they did and take theirs as well with it? You know, I don't understand our society or the people that we live around this year because so much tragedy and it's just senseless.
It
Senseless
really
to
was.
me.
How did you feel after you found out that the terrorists hit?
Well, you know, I cried.
Really?
I cried
Okay.
because so many lives were lost. And then to find out that these were people, terrorists, you know, that come here just to destroy and to kill people for no reason at all. It's senseless.
It really
Just
was.
senseless.
It really was. Mr. Hobbs, can you remember that day and how did you feel?
Yeah, I remember that day. I was actually living in Denver at the time.
Okay.
And I was driving to work, and that's when I came over the radio. You know, it was, at first it's confusion because no one knew what was going on. This was still right when it happened, so no one really knew what was going on. And then got to work and turned the TV on, and work stopped, and everybody was glued to that TV.
Yeah, yes. I remember the day because I was working at a plant, and next thing I knew, everyone was drawn. All the machines stopped, and everybody was drawn to the TV. And then we seen it, and I was just appalled, and I was very emotional because at that time I was in a relationship with an Army guy, and I was scared because I'm like, oh my goodness, maybe this may start something and he may have to get sent off to war. I had many emotions. I remember going home and just praying, and I'm like, oh, this is just crazy of this senseless act, and so many people died, during this, and I had all types of emotions, but we wanted to dedicate this segment to all the victims, lives that were lost, the families that endure this tragic event.
Yes,
And we want to take a couple of seconds just in silence to remember all that's been affected. Not only the people that passed, their family members, but everyone that was there at that time,
Right,
that seen
right.
it on TV, heard it on the radio. You know, this was really tragic. So, but we're still praying, for
Most
the
definitely.
families, praying
Most
for each other, because there's so many things happening in the world. But we definitely just want to take a couple of seconds to just a silence to remember the people, and remember the people that passed away in this tragic event. So just take a moment and. There you have it. That is our moment. It was really tragic, but we're still praying for everyone
Most
that was
definitely.
affected
Most
and what's going on as far as the tornadoes and the storms and everybody that's affected. We're still praying that, that the people are covered and they receive strength from everything that's going on. 'Cause
And that it
we-
never happens again.
yeah, we're steady praying, but that was the segment, and and keep everyone lifted in prayer. This was just a segment to dedicate the memorial to the 9/11. So
That's great. That's
Yes,
good.
yes.
That's good. Because we need to remember people,
yes,
especially at this time when it's the 16th anniversary
it is.
of 9/11.
It is.
So our prayers do go out to the families that lost their loved ones senselessly,
Yeah.
senselessly. Doesn't make sense to me, How a person can take another person's life, I don't understand it. I
Yeah.
really don't understand it.
Yeah,
Don't.
so we
I don't.
definitely
We
pray
thank you
for-
once again, Erica, for
Thank
our world
you.
news
I
segment.
know.
Our world news segment. So we're going to wrap up this segment for
Yes.
today. Once again, Charles Hobbs, Attorney Charles Hobbs, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
My pleasure.
What's your social media so the
Yeah.
people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, so our website is streetdemocracy.org.
Okay.
There is a button there you can donate, because that's what really helps the most is the more of us that we're able to, the more people that we can bring on board as staff, the more people we're able to help out in Detroit. So just definitely inform yourself. There's a lot of information there about our projects and what you could do to help. And then if you feel so inclined, please donate.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
you need to go to the website. It's a wealth of information on their website. Would you give us that again, please?
Yeah, it's streetdemocracy.org.
Okay, great.
That's
Wow.
streetdemocracy.org.
O-R-G. You got it.
Yeah. I get twisted with these
I
words
know sometimes. You
know.
change names sometimes,
Yeah.
you know.
So once again,
okay.
thank you, Charles.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for coming and being on time. I didn't have to worry, you know. You were right here on time.
I'm glad.
So I thank you for that so very much. We want you to, I come on twice a month now,
Yes.
every second Monday and every fourth Monday. So I believe the fourth Monday will be the 25th of September. So hope you'll come in and you'll watch. We're going to have a great show. I'm going to be talking to this young man about hygiene. He's a hygienist.
Okay.
He's only 22 years of age, and so he'll be on our show on the 25th, and we'll go from there.
Tune in then.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Sit back and enjoy real time. Discussing politics, the things that make us tick.